the piece on the left side there is just thinking about supporting. Just how do you support a weight? How do you keep a line under tension?
It's called wedged.
It's called wedged. So the tension structures at the two ends are inspired to some extent by structures that you might see on a suspension bridge. So it was that piece was kind of two ideas, the two end points with that idea, and then the center with just how a wedge can be used to tie pieces together.
And as you screw these in, am I not right? These pull.
Yeah. So the piece is held on the wall because those screws are tightened. If you loosen them, the bottom bracket will loosen up and kind of wobble and fall off of the little support that is attached to the wall. So there's a little angled clip behind the piece that's holding it in place.
And this is if we're to loosen it, this wedge falls out.
Yeah. And then this piece on the end here,
it's entitled Enough.
Which is entitled Enough, is I was thinking about the way suspension bridges are mounted into footings, not so much the New Bay Bridge, which is self-supporting, but other suspension bridges where you have these huge cement bases where all the cables are tied into the ground. And so this was just kind of a thought of how friction can be used to support a structure and how weight is, integral to the structure. An interesting thing about this is that steel weight is pretty much exactly as much weight as this piece can take before the fabric strap will slide out from under the brass pieces and fall on the floor. So it really is just about enough.
Yeah.
It's, trying to create structures that are supported as minimally as possible. And I think this is a pretty good example of refining that idea down.
And interdependence again.
Yeah, definitely interdependence.
Yeah. This one is called Gap.
And this piece is kind of the coming at the bridge from the opposite direction, where these two pieces on the side I stripped away until I got one mechanical object that I wanted to explore. This one was kind of thinking of the idea of what does a bridge accomplish and how does that feel in a very minimal form. So I was thinking about, two planes, and you need those planes to be connected.
Why did you create a gap? Just
There's a gap. That's why we need bridges.
Yeah, there you go. So again, this one is, as you're screwing it, the tension gets tighter?
Yeah,
right?
So these are kind of a variation on that same tension mechanism that we see in that piece over there. And just trying to tie in more of those concepts. Also, trying to find new ways to work, to build the structures I want to build. So how can I make things a bit more adjustable over time as the materials change? And this is a way that I can interact and adjust the piece. And I really like that that's possible with this piece. This piece came as a follow-up to a piece I had shown here earlier, which is now on the wall at Modern Coffee in downtown Oakland. I don't know if any of you have seen that there. But it's following the same structural aspect, or the same basic structure where there are multiple sets of lines overlapping to support these structures. So it looks as if it's all kind of connected, but it's actually two sets of towers. So this tower, if you follow the lines along, you'll see that the two lines don't interact. So all of, this piece, that piece are not related to this piece, and this piece. And it was just, I think that's a place where a lot of my work comes from, where I've made a piece exploring something along those lines, something about, you know, supporting a structure with two strings, and then I have to see what else you can do with it. So this is a good example of like finding something else to do with that structure. This is where a lot of the support mechanisms that I've been using lately has come from. The way the lines are locked into these wooden structures on the ends, and some of the material language being refined, but I think that's what's important about that piece.
So there's a subtlety of line. The arc is within this this fabric here. So if you get on the underside, particularly on each outer edge, you'll see that. But there's a lot of tension that he's commenting about on pulling that, and you can see how it's evenly distributed.
This one, more than some of the other ones, is about really visualizing the tension that's on the lines. By pulling that curve into that piece of fabric, you have to, the lines are under kind of a lot of stress in this piece as compared to some of the other pieces.